pounding that snake's nose, she's still holding the ruby in her other hand. Maker's panties, I was so proud.
Oh,
Ah, shit. They're still holding it. Sorry.
Haven't I heard this somewhere before?
Sorry, did you want to get immersed in our world? Yeah, well, guess what? Fucking pronouns!
This seems to be a theme with you.
What are you doing?
Pulling a barv.
Oh, okay.
a barv?
Tradition in the Lords of Fortune from one of our old members, Barv. Good guy, but like most of us, his plans went sideways a lot. Bad blood among your crew's not good for morale, but there's not always time for big, drawn-out apologies. So, when one of us screws up and we know we've screwed up, we do a quick 10 to put it right. Pulling a barv.
Forgive me, Lord.
I'm glad the Lords of Fortune have Tarsh's back.
Oh, Tarsh isn't the first non-binary member of the Lords.
Uh-oh, retard alert.
Bastard looked better than I did in a dress or pants.
What is this shit?
Any reason you can't just apologise?
Sometimes people say, oops, sorry, and hope that fixes it. But they just want to get the whole thing over with. Trust me, I know. But pulling a barv, you sweat a little. Makes you think about it a little more. Shows the other person you mean it.
What's going on? Why don't they like it? We spent $250 million on this.
Fucking pronouns!
So, if you read through the very subtle subtext here, she's more or less saying from her perspective, she must be punished for using the wrong speech.
Forgive me, Lord.
It's almost like they're trying to get a message across towards the audience, but I just can't put my finger on what kind of message that would be. Remember when BioWare was known for its impressive collection of amazing RPGs, addicting gameplay, memorable characters, sexy witches that invited you into their tents after being put in their fucking place?
'Tis cold in my tent, all alone.
I have never been so down bad for a collection of pixels in all of my life.
So you shall come to my tent?
I can change her, boys. The real downfall of Dragon Age came when Morrigan decided to name her apparent devil spawn with the worst and least intimidating name of all time.
Worry not, Inquisitor. Kieran is a curious boy.
What a pussy. Remember when BioWare was responsible for sending us on an amazing journey to fight the Reapers, to abandon Earth for the impossible task of uniting an entire galaxy with the idea of fighting a battle you can't possibly win, to stop the cycle, playing as Commander Shepard to fuck up aliens and crush up Talia's emergency inductor port?
Emergency induction port.
I'd breathe in her smoke like it was my last breath. I remember putting in well over 100 hours of Dragon Age Origins back in the day, after picking it up on sale at Blockbusters, thinking to myself, how can a games company just keep hitting us with banger after banger? How did we go from taking on the Blight in Dragon Age Origins, battling the Reapers as Commander Shepard with some of the most memorable companions in video games, period? A company that created what some people describe as the best Star Wars game ever produced. How did we go from that to this?
Whatever's out there, we'll face it together, I promise. Together.
I could kiss you right now. I'm going to kiss you right now.
At least there's, something we might need to. It's your, magic.
Well, it's the unfortunate reality that our nostalgia is blinding us to the fact that the teams who produced these amazing bunch of games were moved on a very long time ago. It's been well over a decade since BioWare even produced anything of note. Much like Bethesda, they're very much relying on the goodwill they accumulated from many years ago. The talent from years past has been replaced by talentless hacks with a creative vision only useful for thinking about which pronouns could be used in today's quest to piss somebody off.
Fucking pronouns!
The game is selling pretty well, admittedly, right now, hitting the Steam's top-selling list, but I suspect most of the current success is down to content creators jumping on board to expose as much cringe as possible for clicks and laughs. Similar to the situation over at Ubisoft with that abomination they called a Star Wars game.
Press more button.
Distress beacon.
The rebels.
I'm using the very popular viral moment in this video from Heels vs Babyface because this rant led to a very well-known and public disagreement with the Act Man. There was a tweet the Act Man made during this catfight suggesting he wishes all the publishers would jam-pack as much of this degenerate ideology into their games as much as they can, just for the banter. Obviously from the Act Man's perspective at the time being, it wasn't a very big deal. But a year on, here we are, and we yet have another example of a once great studio in another sector of entertainment prioritizing anything but entertaining their audience. We cannot be allowed to escape into fantasy anymore, into another piece of fiction without being reminded of just how fucking mad this world is that we live in. So when people get worked up, when content creators out there get worked up over pronouns,
Fucking pronouns!
it's not because they're bigots, it's because 99% of normal people don't want this social engineering like North Korea-esque propaganda in their fiction. The clip I played at the beginning of this video was almost like they were grabbing the camera and like the wire from Doctor Who were just trying to suck your soul out of you with some liberal propaganda. I mean, guys, if you want to get a message across, you could be trying less subtle than a colourful brick to the face. The words from Heel vs Babyface have aged like a fine wine.
Fucking pronouns!
And before anyone tries to claim that it's fantasy, guys, it's not a big deal. I would argue shoving the worst examples of this degenerate ideas into your games isn't fantasy. It's something most of us have to put up with every day. Not being able to escape from this craziness, even in our fantasy or science fiction, is the tipping point to any customer on whether they will decide to support your product. The beautiful thing about the gaming industry, however, is your huge catalogue of other choices. So instead of supporting this degenerate product, I'd suggest purchasing Dragon Age Origins and losing yourself in a BioWare game that prioritized escapism. What do you think of the current Dragon Age situation? What do you think of BioWare? Were you a fan of their prior games? Are you a fan of their current games and I'm just completely wrong? Let me know what you think of the pronoun cringe in Dragon Age below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye bye now.